We all experience those moments when negative thoughts start creeping in, planting seeds of doubt and insecurity in our minds. The nagging voice that questions our abilities, worth, and decisions can be incredibly disruptive, impacting all aspects of our lives. If left unchecked, these mental patterns can spiral into anxiety, lack of motivation, and even depression. I know this struggle all too well. There were times when I felt consumed by negative self-talk and crippling self-doubt. It was a constant battle to silence the inner critic and regain my confidence. But then I discovered the profound teachings of Stoicism. This ancient Greek philosophy provided me with powerful strategies to overcome these challenges. As Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wisely stated, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." This realization was transformative for me. I began to understand that my negative thoughts were not facts, but mere interpretations that I had the power to change. So, what is the purpose of our journey today? It is to share the timeless Stoic principles to help you deal effectively with negative thoughts and self-doubt. By the end of this exploration, you will be equipped with practical tools and insights to confront these inner battles head-on, reclaiming your inner peace and confidence. But this is not a passive experience. Stay engaged, reflect on these lessons, and actively apply them daily. True transformation occurs through knowledge, consistent action, and practice. With that, let us begin our exploration of the Stoic way of overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, guided by the wise words of Marcus Aurelius, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." To understand negative thoughts and self-doubt, we must first understand their nature and impact. As Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things." Negative thoughts are not inherently bad or wrong. Our minds create interpretations based on our experiences, beliefs, and conditioning. However, when left unchecked, these thoughts can spiral, distorting our perception of reality and undermining our sense of self-worth. For instance, consider a situation where you made a mistake at work. A negative thought might arise, such as, "I'm so incompetent, I'll never succeed in this job." This thought, however, is not a fact but a judgment colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The impact of such negative self-talk can be far-reaching. It can affect our motivation, decision-making, and overall well-being. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Persistent negative thoughts can drain our energy, cloud judgment, and influence our physical health. Now, let's engage in a brief exercise. Take a moment to reflect on a recent negative thought or moment of self-doubt that you experienced. Please write it down or make a mental note of it. We will revisit this later in our exploration. Understanding negative thoughts' nature and potential consequences enables us to approach them more objectively. We can recognize them as mere interpretations, not absolute truths, and work towards reframing them more constructively. Remember, as Epictetus taught, it is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. With this awareness, we can break free from negative thoughts and self-doubt, paving the way for a more empowered and fulfilling life. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea that our thoughts shape our reality. Epictetus wisely stated, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This profound insight holds the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt. By changing our perspective, we can transform our experience. Let's revisit the example from the previous chapter where you made a mistake at work, and a negative thought arose, labeling you as incompetent and doubting your ability to succeed. This thought is not a fact, but a subjective interpretation colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The Stoics would encourage us to reframe this thought by adopting a more objective and rational perspective. Instead of criticizing ourselves, we could view the mistake as a learning opportunity to identify areas for improvement and growth. We could remind ourselves that mistakes are an inevitable part of the human experience and that even the most accomplished individuals have faced setbacks and failures throughout their journeys. By reframing our perspective, we can transform a negative thought into a constructive one, shifting our mindset from self-doubt to self-compassion and resilience. But the Stoics didn't just preach theoretical ideas, they offered practical wisdom rooted in real life. One such example comes from the life of Seneca, the famous Stoic philosopher and advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero. In one of his letters, Seneca recounts a story of a friend deeply troubled by a nightmarish vision he had experienced. Seneca advised his friend to focus on reality rather than being consumed by his imagination, saying, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." Like Seneca's friend, we often allow our negative thoughts and fears to spiral out of control, creating imagined scenarios that cause unnecessary suffering. By grounding ourselves in reality and adopting a more objective perspective, we can break free from the grip of these distorted thoughts. Here's a practical step-by-step guide to help you reframe a negative thought. 1. Identify the negative thoughts or self-doubt. Write it down or make a mental note. 2. Examine the evidence. Is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Are there alternative perspectives you still need to consider? 3. Challenge the thought. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me, or would I say this to a loved one in a similar situation? 4. Reframe the thought. Replace the negative thought with a more constructive, rational interpretation that aligns with your values and goals. 5. Repeat the reframed thought. Reinforce the new perspective by repeating it to yourself or writing it down. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. By actively practicing reframing our perspective, we can gradually rewire our thought patterns, cultivating a more resilient and empowered mindset. It takes consistent effort, but the rewards are immense: a greater sense of inner peace, self-confidence, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. One of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the principle of focusing our energy and attention on what we can control rather than wasting time and energy agonizing over things beyond our influence. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is compelling when dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. While we cannot always control the initial thoughts that arise, we can control how we respond to them. Do we allow them to spiral, fueling our self-doubt and anxiety, or do we consciously shift our focus to what is within our control? Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work, and feelings of self-doubt and negative thoughts begin to surface. "I'm not good enough. I'll never advance in this company. I'm a failure." While it's one of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the principle of focusing our energy and attention on what we can control rather than wasting time and energy agonizing over things beyond our influence. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is compelling when dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. While we cannot always control the initial thoughts that arise, we can control how we respond to them. Do we allow them to spiral, fueling our self-doubt and anxiety, or do we consciously shift our focus to what is within our control? Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work, and feelings of self-doubt and negative thoughts begin to surface. "I'm not good enough. I'll never advance in this company. I'm a failure." While it's understandable to feel disappointed, dwelling on these negative thoughts and ruminating over the situation will only breed more negativity and disempowerment. Instead, the Stoic approach would focus on what you can control: your reaction, your mindset, and your next steps. You might reframe the situation by acknowledging that, while the outcome was not what you hoped for, it does not define your worth or capabilities. You can respond with resilience, using the experience as motivation to identify areas for growth and development. Additionally, you can focus on what is within your control, such as updating your skills, seeking feedback from mentors, or exploring new opportunities within or outside the company. This principle is exemplified in Epictetus's life. Born into slavery, he faced numerous challenges and adversities beyond his control. However, he focused his energy on what was within his power, his mindset, actions, and response to circumstances. In one of his famous teachings, Epictetus emphasized, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." By embracing this wisdom, we can avoid becoming consumed by negative thoughts and self-doubt from situations we cannot control. Instead, we can focus on our sphere of influence, taking constructive action and maintaining a positive, empowered mindset. To put this principle into practice, I invite you to pause and reflect on a current worry or concern causing you distress. Identify the aspects of the situation within your control and separate them from the factors beyond your influence. By consciously shifting your focus to what you can control, you'll find it easier to let go of negative thoughts and self-doubt surrounding the uncontrollable elements. This simple yet profound practice can cultivate inner peace, resilience, and empowerment in facing life's challenges. Remember, as Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you can reclaim your power and navigate life's ups and downs with grace and composure. Thus far, we've discussed powerful Stoic principles for reframing negative thoughts, focusing on what's within our control, and cultivating an empowered mindset. However, the Stoics understood that lasting inner transformation requires more than intellectual understanding. It demands consistent practice and cultivation of specific mental habits. One such practice is the Stoic concept of negative visualization, which may seem counterintuitive at first glance. As Epictetus wisely stated, no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a figure. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Negative visualization involves contemplating potential adverse scenarios or misfortunes that could befall us, not to dwell on them or create fear, but to build mental resilience and gratitude for what we currently have. By considering the fragility of life and the impermanence of our circumstances, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation for the present moment and develop the strength to face adversity with equanimity. Let's explore a practical exercise in negative visualization. Take a moment to imagine a scenario where you face a significant challenge or loss in your life. Visualize the details and emotions associated with this situation. Then, reflect on how you would respond. What strengths, resources, and coping strategies would you draw upon? This exercise helps build psychological preparedness, reducing the shock and impact of real-life challenges. It also fosters gratitude for our current blessings and highlights the inner strengths we possess to navigate difficulties. The Stoics practiced this technique regularly, understanding that mental resilience is cultivated through intentional preparation. As Marcus Aurelius advised, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. In addition to negative visualization, the Stoics emphasized the importance of daily reflection and self-examination. Seneca recommended setting aside time each evening to review the day's events, thoughts, and actions, asking oneself questions like, what did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow? This practice promotes continuous self-awareness and growth, helping us identify and address negative thought patterns and self-doubt as they arise. To incorporate this into your routine, consider journaling or meditating for a few minutes each evening. Reflect on your thoughts, emotions, and actions throughout the day. Acknowledge your progress and areas for improvement, and set intentions for the following day. By consistently engaging in these practices, you will cultivate greater mental resilience, self-awareness, and inner strength. These daily habits fortify your mind against negative thoughts and self-doubt, empowering you to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. As we conclude our exploration of the Stoic way of overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, it's important to remember that true transformation is an ongoing journey, not a destination. By consistently applying the Stoic principles we've discussed, you can cultivate a resilient and empowered mindset that will serve you well throughout your life. Let's summarize the key takeaways. That negative thoughts are not facts, but subjective interpretations. By understanding their nature and potential impact, you can approach them more objectively. Challenge and reframe negative thoughts with a more constructive and rational perspective. Focus on learning opportunities and self-compassion rather than harsh self-criticism. Direct your energy and attention to what is within your control rather than wasting time on things beyond your influence. Embrace the wisdom of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Build mental resilience and gratitude through the practice of negative visualization. Contemplate potential challenges and reflect on your strengths and coping strategies. Engage in regular self-reflection and examination to cultivate continuous self-awareness and growth. Acknowledge your progress and set intentions for improvement. Remember, the Stoic path is not about achieving perfection, but striving for progress.